friends, welcome to our channel Sangeeta to Teach. I hope your preparation is going well. So today we are with the video to learn about the teaching concepts, the objectives and the levels of teaching. So before I start, this is a small intro about me and coming to the topics that we are going to cover. As I said, we'll talk about the concepts, objectives, characteristics, the process in the teaching. The process is different from levels of teaching, guys. We will see the two things by comparing them, the process and the levels. And they are three levels in teaching. That is memory level, understanding level and reflective level. We will study in detail about them. They are also teaching models related to this levels. So these are given by different scientists. As we can see here, John Herbert has given the model of memory level teaching. Morrison has given the understanding level. Hunt has given the reflective model. So this can be a direct question. You can make a note of it. And finally, we are going to end this video with the basic requirements of the teaching. Okay. Teaching concept. The teaching means to show or to point out. As we know, a teacher is a person who will show us a right path, who will show us the right direction, who will show us a great guidance, right? So it is nothing but to show or to point out. It is a process of imparting knowledge. The teacher does not just impart the knowledge, he will also impart the values, the culture, the skills, the behavior that a student can be a better for future himself. Right? The teacher communicates his ideas, his emotions to the learners. Coming to the objectives of teaching, he will inspire the students, he will develop the students to become critical thinkers. He will use a different tools and strategies that will help the students to cope up with their future, also cope up with their fast changing world, right? He will not just inculcate the knowledge but also include the values, morals, punctuality, discipline, whatnot. A teacher is a person who creates a big change in the student's life, and it will create a confidence in the student that he can do something. He has to create that the student wants to learn, that interest that teacher has to create. The teacher has to create an overall development of the students. He has to develop not just him as an individual better person but also include him in leadership skills, teamwork and all, the brotherhood, the feeling of brotherhood. This is all are inculcated by the teacher in the students. Right, coming to the characteristics of the teaching, he has to help the learners to learn. He has to decide what the students has to learn. He has to give a personal counseling, that is, he has to look at the welfare of the students. He has to be creative enough to make the minds of students creative. He has to build good relationship with the students, and he has to have a good listening skills. The teacher is not just who is having a good effective communication skills. It is not that how good you are communicating, how good you listen to the students is also important. You have to get their feedback at every class, that will give you a boost in improving yourself, right? He has to be a very encourative in the way of teaching, and he has to be very flexible to the students, they so that he is easily approachable to the students if they have a problem. And there are two forms of teaching. They are formal and the informal. The teacher in a class will act to be very formal, but when you meet your teacher outside, he will be an informal way. So in the same way as we write the formal letters and the informal letters, the same way in the teaching, right? It is that you learn not just from your teachers, you learn from your surroundings, from your parents as well, right? Okay, coming to the teaching, we have a teaching process and teaching levels. So what is process? A process is a three-step process where you first plan. A teacher plans what I have to say, what is my content, what is the objective, what learners has to learn. He will plan accordingly based on the learners perspective. So he will make what kind of tools I have to use, what kind of teaching aids I can adapt so that the students will understand in a better way. This is what he will plan before he goes to a class. This is called as planning. Execution, what he does what he performs, what are the activities that are done by a teacher when he enters the classroom is the execution. Whatever he has planned, he will execute. Coming to the reflection, the reflection will turn out to be the necessary changes that can be made, where I can change, whether the plan and the execution has matched. If not, what I have to do it in the what I have to do the better way the next time. So this is all about the process, which is planning, execution and reflection, also called as pre-active, interactive and post-active. Pre-active, as I said, you before the activity you plan something. Pre-active, next you come to a class where you interact with the students, you start giving your content to the students. And then post-active, after the activity what has happened, like what kind of changes that I can make for myself, that is under the post-active. So this is all about the teaching process. Now it is very clear, right? Teaching processes, it is planning, execution and what kind of betterment you can do, that is planning, execution and reflection. This is also called sometimes as pre-active, interactive and post-active. Clear about teaching process? Now coming to the teaching levels, there are 3 levels in which, if I have to say in a very basic language, the primary level is nothing but you just mug up things. For example, memorize the things. You just take the facts. You just take the information. You really don't know what is the purpose of the information. You really don't know what to do with that facts. You just take the facts. You don't understand it. You don't know what is the purpose. You just memorize them. For example, if in a kindergarten or so, if there are rhymes, they just memorize it. They don't know what is the meaning. Johnny Johnny as Papa, they keep saying Johnny Johnny as Papa. And if there is 2 and 2 twos are 4, it is like 2 twos are 4. It is, they don't know, they don't understand. Okay, they are doing the 2 2 times, they are doing the 2, so it is 4. They don't understand that formula, or they don't know, they just memorize things. So this is about the memory level. Whereas coming to the understanding level, they start understanding. The student will have an interest in knowing the things. Why, what has happened. They get to involve too much into this, knowing the knowledge. They start growing their knowledge. They start asking. Coming to the reflective level. In this level, this is a combination of the memory level and understanding level, where the person is going to solve his own problems. He is at a stage where he has got the knowledge, he knows everything, and he is able to solve and find a solution to a problem. So this is about the reflective level in a very basic language, if I have to say. Memory level, where you memorize, you don't know the purpose, you don't know the understanding of that particular information. Whereas understanding, you know why, what. And memory level, for example, if I have to say, plants are green, you just remember the plants are green, that's it. In understanding level, you understand, okay, plants are green because there is a chlorophyll, maybe because of photosynthesis. They start understanding, they start analyzing. Reflective, they know, okay, this is the reason. They have their own solutions, they have their own way of dealing with the things. That is reflective level. This will come slowly. The child from his primary level, secondary primary, secondary schoolings, and then for the higher education, they start learning and understanding the things in a better way than before, right? As we will discuss in detail the teaching process. The teaching process is planning a lesson. You plan a lesson and you identify the objectives in terms of students learning, what a student has to learn, what are their objectives. You plan according to their objectives. What are the strategies or methods that have to be adopted, what kind of teaching aids that you are using, what kind of content that you have selected that you have to teach. You decide about the preparation and usage of the evaluation tools. So these are all the things that you decide prior, right? Because you are going to plan, you do not do it, you just planned it. This is what you wanted to execute, right? The next level is execution phase. In this, you execute a plan. The activities performed by the teacher after entering the classroom. Once you enter the classroom, whatever you have planned, you are going to execute. It may be as per your plan, or may not be as per your plan. So it is just about the presentation and delivery of the content in the classroom. Whatever activity that is performed, that is execution. That comes under the execution level. So in the reflection phase, the next phase of execution is reflection. So in this phase, you analyze the results, whether you have done according to your plan or not, whether you have executed what you wanted to execute or not. So if not, what are the necessary changes that can be made? So this comes under the reflection phase. So it is simple, right? There is nothing but the teaching process. Teaching process is planning, execution and reflection. This is also called as pre-active, interactive and post-active. Remember this point. Just don't get confused with the levels of teaching. It is teaching process. Okay, these three stages, that is planning, execution and reflection, comes under the process of teaching. Now let's see the levels of teaching. Memory level. As I said you, they just take the factual material without understanding. Simple one. It is based on the SR conditioning theory. So memory level is based on dash theory of learning. Then it is SR. S is stimuli and response. The teacher will give you a stimuli and you respond to it without knowing the purpose, without involving in the purpose. So you understood the memory level, right? In this memory level, we have a teaching model given by a John F. Herbart. See, how do you remember this? Herbart is given for memory. See, memorizing some facts, memorizing the information is an art. So Herbart, art is linked with memory. So Herbart has given the model of memory level teaching. Simple. Okay, what he has given, he said that the main focus is on the emphasis is on the facts. How do they develop this? See, when you go for an LKG or a kindergarten, the teachers just give them facts. If they keep on repeating the things so that the students get used to it. So if the teacher keeps on saying A, B, C, D, the child will also repeat behind the teacher. This is what happens. He is just giving the facts and he is just receiving the facts without using his brain, without understanding anything. So how do you train them? You train their mental aspects, providing the knowledge facts like A, B, C, D are the knowledge facts that I'm giving. You retain the learned facts, you retain them and you recall them. You ask them to repeat, right? The mental aspects, the training of the mental aspects, providing the knowledge facts, retaining and recalling. So some of the steps of lesson planning, how do you do that? According to the John Herbart. So there are 5 steps, which is preparation. Preparation, presentation, association, generalization and the application. These are the 5 things according to the lesson plans of the Herbart. So preparation, how do you prepare? You prepare related to the past ideas. You ask the students if they know this content before. Did they have any prior experience with this particular content? You create some interest. And coming to the presentation, it is the actual experience, what you really want to deliver them. Association, you make a difference. You make a difference between the similarities and the dissimilarities, and you create a new idea within the minds of the students. Generalization is like generalizing the things. It is not the perception, right or wrong, but beyond the level of perception. Generalization is beyond the level of perception. Coming to the application, he tries to apply the new idea and makes it his own. Don't say me that it is not related to memorizing the things, right? This has been given by John Herbart and it has been learned in this way itself. It is preparation, presentation, association, generalization and application. Coming to the social system, it is pupil and the teacher. There are 2 things, teacher and a learner. The support system, how do you memorize things? You ask them by oral, written or an essay type examination. So this is about the John Herbart. So let us once again revise this model of teaching. It is John Herbart. That is, the focus is on the facts, the mental aspects, the knowledge facts, retaining and recalling them. And the next thing is the steps of planning. Lesson planning. How do you plan a lesson? You first prepare, and then you present. You create an association with that presentation, and you generalize that presentation that you have given, and that generalization has to lead to an application. So things are clear. You prepare, you present, you create an association, generalization, and application, right? There are two categories of social system, that is student and the teacher. How do you retain them? By oral, by written, or essay type examination. So understanding level of teaching. How do you understand? I said your understanding is mastering the subject. You try to understand it, you get involved in it. This is occurred by an planned learning, right? It involves exploration, presentation, assimilation, organization, and recitation. This is similar to that of what we have read in the Herbart's learning lesson plan steps. It is similar to that, but this understanding level carries at the senior primary classes. Senior primary classes. Okay, let us see. It is focused on the mastery of the content. So Morrison has given under the understanding level. Okay, first one, exploration. You explore, you search whether you have a previous knowledge or not. Presentation, the content is presented. And then assimilation. See, in this H.C. Morrison's understanding level, in the first two stages, that is exploration and presentation, the teacher plays the major role. Whereas from the third to the fourth, that is assimilation, organization, and recitation, the learner plays the key role. So T stands for teacher, and 3 to 4 it is L. That is learner gets involved more. He becomes more active. So what is happening in assimilation? In assimilation, he will have a practical knowledge, the test of the content. He will understand and get involved with the labs, generalization. Organization is, he will give an outline of what has happened. This is what the teacher has thought. Recitation, the learners present the content orally. Like, orally what has happened, what is that you have learned. This is recitation, that is learned. And the Morrison understanding level. Now you understood in the understanding level, you master the content because you understand it. Coming to the levels, it is exploration, that is you search for the prior knowledge. The next one is the same, presentation. The third one is assimilation, whereas in the Herbart, it is association. And there the fourth one was generalization, and here it is organization. And this is recitation, there it was application. They will present the content orally in the recitation. In the last 3 to 4, 3, 4, 5 will lead with the L, that is learners will get involved more, whereas the first two, exploration and presentation, the teacher gets involved more. Coming to the reflective level of teaching, as I said you, it is the highest hierarchical order of the mental process. When you are able to solve the problem solving approach, where you have a constructive mind, a critical thinking mind, where your knowledge, you seek for the knowledge, you keep on growing the knowledge, and you have that curiosity or the interest in finding the solutions, in finding the conclusions, right? This is about the reflective level. The Hunt has given the reflective model. The main focus is on solving the problems, critical thinking, and constructive thinking. Some of the syntax are: create a problematic situation. You first find out the teacher creates some problem in front of the classroom. She will say, or he will say, this is the problem, what will you do? The formulation of hypothesis. The students will start formulating the hypothesis. They verify the hypothesis, and they collect the data, and they test the hypothesis, whether this can happen or not. So in this, basically the students get involved. The learners occupy the primary space. The teacher will only he will just create a problem in front of you. He will say, this is the problem, what will you do at this situation? So the students are able to understand what is the problem. They will try to formulate the hypothesis. They will verify whether this hypothesis is true or false. Then they collect some certain data, and then finally test the hypothesis, yes or no. So in this, the social system, there is a learner and a teacher, but the learner occupies this primary space because they know the knowledge. They are going to get involved. They are more curious in solving this, solving any kind of problem. Whereas the teacher becomes the takes the secondary place. He will just provide a problem situation, and just he will sit and observe the students, whether how they are doing and all. Coming to the support system is like attitude, beliefs, and involvement are evaluated, where the student, the way of their attitude, what they believe, these kind of involvements are evaluated. It is not an objective type, it is an essay type is used. If you have to recollect the knowledge, it is the essay type that is used, right? And now let's see the comparison of all the three. You have understood the first part very clearly. Maybe you might be having some doubt with this models of teaching in this particular levels of memory, understanding, and reflective. See this. Take a screenshot of this pic so that it will be easy for you when you compare and study. That is why I made this. So in the memory level, it was given by John Herbart. Understanding was given by Morrison, and reflective was by the Hunt. Focus is on memorizing the facts in the memory level, subject matter in understanding, and reflective it is problem solving. Syntax, it is in the memory level, it is preparation, presentation, association, generalization, and application. Whereas in the understanding level, it is exploration, preparation, assimilation, organization, and recitation. We have already discussed. If you really have some doubt, go back and do it again. Whereas in reflective level, I said you, the teacher will create some problem situation in front of the students, and he will leave it to the students so that they will solve. The students are in such a capable way that they will solve this. They are more interested, more involved. They have that they want to know the knowledge. They seek the growth in the knowledge. So these kind of students will solve this problem by collecting the data and testing the hypothesis. Coming to the social system, it can be a teacher and the student, whereas in understanding level both are active, but the learners work with full involvement from the third to fifth. See, the first two things are from the teacher, exploration and the presentation, whereas assimilation, organization, and recitation are done by the learners. So from this third act, the learners become very active. Coming to the reflective, the learners are active, they take the primary space. Coming to the support system, the memory level can be tested by oral, written, and essay type, whereas understanding is by oral, written, and objective. Whereas reflective, they solve the problem. It is not just doing it by an objective type, it is an essay type. Remember this. Coming to the last topic of today, that is basic requirements of teaching. So as we know, in a general way, if we have to say what is the basic requirement of teaching, a teacher must be there. She should be a well qualified. She should have some subject knowledge, not some, a better subject knowledge. And she should also know how to use the teaching aids, what are the strategies, how well I can teach to the students, what are the tricks that I can play with the students that they retain their knowledge for a long time. What she should have, she or he should have a good encouragement skills or motivation skills to encourage and motivate the students, to inspire them. They should have lots of patience, and in a very general way, if I have to speak, they should have lots of listening skills, not just the effective communication skills, but also the listening skills. As it is a continuous process, the teacher has to obtain some of the requirements, right? So let's talk about the basic requirements of the teacher. A teacher is an independent, we can say a student is dependent. He is dependent on the teacher. Different methods and strategies of aids and materials have to be known by the teacher. They have to know what kind of material I need, what kind of aids I can need, so that I can attract the students. We will talk about the teaching aids in the coming videos as well. The teaching aids are nothing but what you use. For example, if I'm using a slide share, or power projector I'm using, if I'm using some other kind of maps or something like that, visualizing them so that you get attracted, you understand it in a better way. right? The teaching is continuous process where you have to have lots of patience and motivation. It is a complex activity. Like, teaching is not just delivering your content. It is about getting that impact in the child, that he has to learn, create that interest in the children or the students, that he has to learn, improve himself, and to involve him in the overall development. And he has to also help the students in retain the knowledge for a longer time. And the teacher's duty is not just delivering the content or doing something like that. It is also, he has to develop the discipline in the students. It is not having the effective communication skills or interaction, but also a good listening skills. The knowledge of the teaching methods and subject knowledge is more important for any teacher to be the best teacher, right? Okay, coming to the end of the video, this is all about what we have read. I hope you understood. It is very simple, and the more the important thing that you have to concentrate, or you might be get confused or something like that may happen, it's when you read this models of teaching and the levels of teaching, right? There are some models of teaching, right? Just revise them with the, just take a screenshot of this difference. That will give you an overall picture of what is there in this particular teaching models. This will help you out, and I hope you like this video. If at all, if you like, please also do answer these questions. There is a knowledge quiz which says, which of the following is not the levels of teaching? We have read the levels of teaching, right? These are the options that are given. Which of the following teaching model is related to the memory level? So these are the three options. Please revise this video, understand this video. When you understand this video, it is very easy to answer these questions. I hope I see some comments with the answers. I hope you are liking this series. Thank you. Keep liking, sharing, and subscribing this channel so that you get many more videos, and that gives us a big motivation to do so. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Please do like and subscribe again.